All right, hello and welcome back to the Mythic Table Town Hall. This is for March 2022, and we're gonna do things a little differently today. We're gonna do things a little bit more casual. Um, we're gonna forego the presentation, and we're gonna spend this town hall just sitting and chatting about what's going on. We hope to cover the stuff that's normally in the regular town hall, bit by bit, but we just want to leave it more casual, more accessible to everybody. So, how do we get started? I don't know. I've never done this
That's a good question.
before.
I guess we could just start with like the beginning of the agenda.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we could talk about the things that we have on our agenda, just in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the one thing is we had one new contributor join last month from LinkedIn, right, Kevin?
Yeah, they came from LinkedIn. I put out a job ad on LinkedIn for volunteers, and it actually had some really great turnout. And we've already got our first contributor that way, so that's worked out well for us. And that's
Yeah,
Wyatt.
yeah, yeah. This is Wyatt. Wyatt's great. Super eager. He jumped on middle of last month, I believe,
Yeah, I
beginning.
believe it was middle. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. He and I we met and we did some pairing. I think we fixed a bug or two, something like that. So we got him up to speed.
Yeah, he's really jumped in.
Mm. So we're hoping to see more out of Wyatt soon. But yeah, we really want to thank him for volunteering because this is great. This is everything that we do here. We do from volunteers,
No,
which get
exactly.
paid.
Yeah, and he's really jumped in and taken a hold on things and started himself, which is really important here too.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially where everybody is in different time zones and working or going to school full time. It's hard for us to hold somebody's hand as they start to learn.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So what have you and Wyatt been working on?
Mostly bugs.
Nice. Yeah, that's
We
good.
found, yeah, but we found that bugs are just a really easy way um, to introduce someone to the process, to introduce someone to the code base, and to get some really fast wins. Um, I don't know. Do you have the which bugs did we work on? I'm gonna dig that up. Actually, do you mind digging that up, Kevin,
Yeah, I
while
can
I
grab that.
go on to the next thing? Um, because this one I actually want to do. So last month, this was February. We did our general, our Mythic Table Foundation General Assembly a little late this year, or I should say last year. And the reason we did that was because we've had some shifts around the directors. And we've had to say goodbye to a number of directors in 2021, including James, who's been here since the beginning. James and I kind of launched Mythic Table from a conversation in the middle of Skybox Labs. We just turned around and like, we don't like the current state of virtual tabletops. Let's build something ourselves, and that's how it started. So he was the last Skybox contributor other than me who's stuck around this entire time. So it's sad to see him go. But he might be coming back. But with that sad news, we actually have some pretty exciting news. Kevin here, who you guys know as Shield on Discord, has agreed to take on the role of a director of communications for Mythic Table. And we're super excited to have him jump into that role. So thank you for that, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited to do that too. It's gonna be a really fun journey with you guys.
Cool. At the same time, you guys might be familiar that Sarah was the previous director of communications. So she managed things like our Facebook channel, our Twitter channel, and things like that. But she's been real busy with some changes in her life, um, and we wanted to make some room for her. At the same time, we wanted to kind of reward her for going above and beyond her regular duties. And if anyone's familiar with um, some of the ins and outs of what we do at Mythic Table, you might have seen Sarah in different capacities, such as on the Kickstarter and the newsletter, things like that. She's been kind of my second as an assistant to me, but really she's been ramping up to become a producer. So we've changed her role from director of communications to director of production. And as things kind of settle down for her, we're going to define what that is. But the main goal of a producer at Mythic Table is to work on internal communications, roadmaps, um, project management, things like that. Just generally making sure that the development team doesn't have to worry about all the ins and outs. They facilitate the bug triages, they facilitate milestone planning and milestone reviews, things like that. Um, so we're excited to have her step up to that role.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good role for her.
I think so too. I hope so. This is something she's always really been interested in.
Yeah, this will be a good step then.
Yeah, yeah. I've known Sarah for maybe 12, 13 years now.
Oh, wow.
She's always been in community management. It's always
Yeah.
been interesting.
Well, I do know that you guys worked together before, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she was doing community management then.
That's right.
Yeah. This will be a nice way to transition then for her.
Yeah.
And start learning some new skills and putting that into action.
Yeah, that's right. Mythic Table doesn't really offer a lot as far as compensation for the work that you do, but it's nice that we're able to help people advance their careers and learn different skills and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's actually one of our most important qualities at Mythic Table is the ability to come in at any sort of experience level and gain the experience you need to really get your foot in the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I was looking over bugs, and I noticed we closed a composite map editor bug.
Right.
We closed invalidating a single macro token text bug that caused a delete when you pressed cancel, I believe.
Okay.
And then we also closed a grid color bug.
Interesting. That's good.
And we've also been working on a lot of web bugs and updates.
That's right. We had a new member join us recently by the name of Blaine. And Blaine's been super eager on the website. He's been making some really great headway.
Oh, yeah. He's really pushing forward in preparation for the next iteration of the site, which I think is going to be extremely exciting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, just before the town hall today, he put out a new code review, and I was looking at it at the start of the town hall. But,
oh yeah, he's just been pushing them out. Really exciting.
Oh, what else do we have on the go?
Oh, let's see. Oh, we had Blaine fixed the menu modal on the website, so that's exciting. He also updated our newsletter modal, and he's been working on making sure the financials are all added and up to date as well on the website.
That's really good. I need someone to hound me to get those financials in.
Yeah, I think Blaine is really gonna sort of take up a lead on making sure we have the financials added to the site every month. So that's really good.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So yeah, what else do we have?
I've still been working on the DeviantArt for Mythic Table, trying to get that group up and running. I think that's going to be a really a smart way to attract maybe some artists to the community, which we could really use, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic to have original art. for Mythic Table.
Oh yeah.
We were spoiled when we did the Kickstarter, and in the very beginning of the project when we did that kind of introduction movie to what we envisioned Mythic Table being able to do. Um, it was fantastic to have the animator that put that together and all the art resources that were volunteered by other members of the community, the industry.
Yeah, exactly. It really helps to elevate what Mythic Table is trying to become, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So I was just gonna talk. We have a Reddit contest. We were gonna do it this month, but I think we're gonna postpone it till next month now. But we're gonna. It's gonna be a really interesting event across Reddit that's going to allow people to have a chance to have a little sit down, one-on-one meet and greet with Mark here for hopefully 2 hours. So that'll be an exciting little keep updated on that. Join our Reddit.
Cool. That sounds great. So that's going to be next month, you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna run that next month. We were going to do it this month, but we got a little behind on that. So, and we want to run it, the best way we can, and with the most reach we can. So we decided to postpone it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Cool, cool, cool.
Oh, also, I believe you wanted to speak a little bit about reducing operating costs through DevOps.
Yeah, that's right. Because one of the things I want to do is, I mean, as things are slowing down a little bit on the development side, our month-to-month operating cost is basically uh, eating all of our um, Patreon contributions. So I want to make sure that we're gonna try to break even a little bit with that. So there's some things that we can do to improve our monthly cost, reduce the number of clusters that we're using, and things like that. So there's a bunch of work I need to do in order to enable that. Um, if we're going to ship all of our environments and all of our applications into a single cluster, um, there's some there's some changes that need to be made.
Yeah,
So I just need to find the time to be able to sit down and do those changes.
yeah, definitely development technical heavy for those sort of updates.
Yeah, and at this point, I believe I'm the only one left that actually is familiar with the DevOps and infrastructure for Mythic Table. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
maybe that's something we can look into expanding as well.
yeah, it's a tricky one because this type of this type of work is very new. It's sexy, in my opinion, but it's very new. So most people who do it, they come in from one or two different areas. They come in from traditional operations work, where they've had some script writing and programming experience, or they come in from the server engineering side, where they're more interested in some of the operation stuff. So it's a rare breed that becomes a DevOps engineer. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
Few of them actually have a lot of experience. We work with a number of really kind of cutting edge technologies. We work with GCP, we work with Kubernetes, we work with Docker, and we work with Terraform. Um, finding somebody that has all four of those on their resume is hard, especially
Oh
finding
yeah.
somebody who wants to work for free on
Well,
some of
see,
those.
yeah, that's a big point of it too.
Yeah,
But a lot of it is you have to be able to see past that and see the what you can gain out of Mythic Table beyond monetary compensation because there is a lot to gain from helping Mythic Table. I found that out even in my few months here already.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great.
Especially network connections. Even me, I'm not much of a developer, but having worked with you guys now, I'm really starting to learn and understand, Git and all the intricacies that go with development.
Yeah,
So even
yeah,
from that perspective, joining the team can really help elevate your experience in that way.
yeah. if you're looking to change careers or something like that, and you don't know how to break into it,
Well,
it's a
yeah, exactly. Like we were mentioning with Sarah, how she was, mostly on the consumer side, but she's trying to transition into more of a production role. This is a great way for her to, get the experience and the skills she needs to do that.
yeah, absolutely.
Also, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the permissions API, how you intend to finish it
Yeah,
in this month or next, perhaps.
yeah, we're actually really close to finishing the API part of this story. Um, the last couple of bits and pieces I need to do are just some testing around how we do the WebSockets. Um, it's pretty standard API stuff. And the start of the permissions API is just going to introduce the ability to have optional permissions where you can start closing down your objects. Now, if you don't use the permissions, everyone's going to have permissions to everything. That's the way things work for Mythic Table right now. So if you create a character, anybody can go in there and change its name. Anyone can go in there and delete it or move it around or something. Well, they might not be able to delete it. They can do all kinds of other things though. So the permissions API is basically to give you an opportunity to lock it down a little bit more. And it's going to start enabling the next work as giving you the ability to kind of share it um, and allow that object to go from one campaign to another, from one person to another. And that sharing is going to be the first step in enabling us to do our uh, our marketplace kind of thing, where you can take components and objects and either buy them or just share them between sessions. Our
Yeah,
Kickstarter goals really only go as far as sharing and
yeah.
maybe rating.
And I believe this is our final tech heavy Kickstarter goal, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, so after that, we can really start heading forward with the new roadmap and defining some new and exciting features for everybody.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I should I should buckle down and try to do this. We need to get some more UX experience, more UX people involved in the project, and some more UI as
Yeah,
well.
maybe that's what I'll do for the next LinkedIn ad I put up. Is I'll do UX UI perhaps and see if we can get some volunteers there. It worked very well with Wyatt, so
Yeah, yeah, we can give it a shot. Can't hurt.
okay.
So I guess why don't we open it up? We got a couple people here. Um, we have joined us and listening in. Why don't we open it up and give them an opportunity
And
to speak?
unlike usual, you should both already be able to communicate. You might have to put push to talk on though.
Um, I'm I'm curious because last time you mentioned that you wanted to work on the orientation thing, and I saw that you had started some work on that. How is progress on that going?
Oh, that's a good question. Slow at the moment. Blaine and I, uncaged here, are actually going through that currently. So that should, I'm hoping that should be out within the month. The process should be a little more fixed.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, in the meantime, our onboarding process is going to be get in touch with us, send me a message, say you're interested in joining, have a 5 minute conversation with me about what that means, and then get you onto their Slack channel and um, probably do a pairing session with you for some bugs. I found that to be pretty successful.
And that's the thing. A lot of people they don't realize that they can get involved in ways that they might not otherwise understand. Even you don't have to be a coder. You can still go through and look for spelling errors, things like that in the code. There's a lot to do.
Yeah, I think I remember you from last month or the month before. You had raised the same kind of question, um, and I really encourage you to like talk to me directly if you're interested.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, DM Mark after the town hall is probably the best way to go about that right now.
All right then, I'll be sure to do that then.
awesome, that's great.
And then as we're developing the orientation, you can also be part of helping us, flesh that out if you'd like. That's something that's really important to us. Making sure that it's a really resourceful tool for individuals to understand how they can get involved.
We'll keep that in mind.
Cool. Very good.
Anything from you, Blaine? I noticed you unmuted. Oh, should I be checking? Should I be checking?
Oh, awesome. This is Blaine, is it?
Yeah, I believe Uncaged is Blaine. Oh. I might have screwed up permissions.
I guess while you're taking a look into permissions, I guess I could talk about. What we're looking for in terms of individuals that are looking to contribute, or maybe we can talk about some of our extracurricular stuff that we're planning. Like last month, I did the Vancouver Covenant House Sleepout.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's a organization here in Vancouver that provides housing for homeless youth, and I've been working with them for the past, I guess, 3 years now, and just basically doing their sleep outs and helping raise awareness and raise some money during their fundraising drives. It's just something that I like to do, and I got involved in the beginning of Mythic Table with this when they had a kind of a executive sleep out, and I decided that, hey, let's get the executives on Mythic Table involved, and that's really how we got started. So now we basically just do their champion or professional sleep outs, but it's still a great opportunity. Every time I do one of those sleep outs, we start with a meet and greet and things like that. You'll learn a lot about what they're doing and their plans for the future and how they're impacting the lives of these kids that are on the street. It's really incredible to see.
Yeah, that went really well, actually. We ended up raising $515, which is not bad. And I believe if you go to our sleep out, you can still donate if you're interested.
So there's another thing I've been meaning to do for probably over a year now, but I just haven't got the traction and found the time to do it. So many of you have probably heard of a thing called Extra Life, which is it's another fundraising program for hospitals. You can basically choose whichever hospital you want to raise money for, and we're choosing, I believe, the Children's Hospital here in Vancouver. But the way it works in Extra Life is you get people to pledge you to play games for 24 hours. So that's your thing. It's actually really neat.
No, yeah.
All you have to do is stay up for 24 hours and play video games.
Yeah, I definitely think that's something that the Mythic Team could take on.
Yeah, but I want to do it with a twist. I want to play D&D for 24 hours. And I want to stream the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that would be quite the adventure, I think.
Yeah.
Especially after you hit that 12-hour mark.
We're gonna go. There's gonna be a bunch of dips and valleys of energy and just silliness that follow us throughout the day.
Oh yeah, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, so I've got to assemble a small party of guys who are interested in, or girls who are interested in staying up 24 hours to roll dice for the Children's Hospital here, and I'll put something together. Maybe in a couple months or so, when the weather starts to get nicer and we can start regretting the fact that we're stuck inside.
Yeah, no doubt. No, that sounds like a great idea, actually. And I think we really, as we consider ourselves global, we really sort of want to get involved on any level we can. So if you have something going on in your community, feel free to bring it to us and we'll support in any way we can.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I think that's really important to us moving forward is that we want everyone to understand what it means to be part of the Mythic team. And part of that is, giving back where and when we can.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of how Mythic Team and Mythic Table is created, right? It would be a little absurd not to adhere to that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's it. So, Kevin, did you happen to pull together any comments, questions from the community over the last month?
I did, actually. One sec here. Christ. Guide. Mythic Table. Oh, where did it go? I had a really good one. Oh, here I had a really good one. What style of play is Mythic Table oriented toward?
That's a really good question. So, if you take a look at like what stereotypical RPGs are, like starting with the quintessential Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and stuff like that, you're looking at tabletop, uh, kick in the door, fight the goblins, things like that. Um, Virtual tabletops have traditionally been aids for those types of storytelling by giving people the ability to control their characters on a map, and keep track of a bunch of different things, which um, kind of get out of the way of the story. Um, so, maps and characters and dice is probably the style that Mythic Table is aiming for from the beginning. But since we started doing this, there's been a small vocal minority of people who are like, well, we like to play things like Blades in the Darkness or other types of games that don't use maps and things like that. But we want to still be able to enhance our stories with Mythic Table and be able to use, the dice rolling and the tracking systems that are on there. So we've thought about different ways that we can allow for other types of storytelling, but not really on our roadmap just yet. But there's something that I'd really like to be able to do.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I had another one here. Can players move tokens even if the GM isn't logged in?
Yes, yes, they can.
As we mentioned with the permissions before.
Yeah, so this has been a topic of discussion, um, about, you know, do we want to have a tool which is extremely restrictive to players or extremely restrictive and controls everything in a way that, say, something like D20 Pro or Fantasy Grounds can do? Or do we want to have a tool that's extremely permissive, allowing you to collaborate in your storytelling experience so that your characters, your players can interact with the tool in much the same way that the DM does? And one of the great things about the way that Mythic Table approaches this is it's it doesn't really, in the beginning, it didn't really have the concept of a GM. I mean, we had the concept of the GM being the person who created the campaign, but there was no mechanic that allowed the GM to do any more than another player. And what this really opened up was the ability for like people to create their own maps. Like a player could be like, "Well, this is my bedroom," or "This is my keep," or something like that, and they could make that map and they could put it out there for people to see. Um, they could, in one of the games that I had, we had characters build with tokens a an initiative tracker, right? So I'm telling a story, and the characters, like all the players in the story, are doing all of that work in order to track their own initiatives and things like that. It's fantastic, and you don't get that if you really restrict everybody's actions and things.
No, exactly. I think that's really a smart idea and a smart reason to sort of start at the ground level with everyone having access to everything. And then from there, you work up, you create the permissions as you need, you allow, you put it in your hands of your players as to what they want to restrict or not restrict in their game, etc.
Yeah, and this was actually a fluke. Like we stumbled across this because we just didn't want to build that in the beginning. We took a very lean approach. What was the first thing we needed to do? Well, we needed to have a map and a bunch of tokens on the map.
Yeah,
That's it. We didn't have
exactly.
health work. We didn't have names. We didn't. I think we might have had chat and dice roll. Dice rolling came a little bit later. But the idea was like, if we just do the minimum and get something out for people to play with, they can see what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then all of a sudden they started doing something we didn't expect. So now when it comes to like, can we restrict a little bit more? I'm gonna say, yeah, we can, but do we want to?
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. All right. I had a question. They were kind of really asking about the support for phone and how, difficult it is for adding, removing, hiding tokens.
Um, so the add, remove, hide, and token bit, I believe that that whole visibility thing is going to be part of the Kickstarter. When it comes to our permissions, you're just going to kind of get that for free. Um, so um, it's it's not difficult, but it's time consuming in the fact that we need to be able to pack a UI full of all of this, all of these options, in addition to all of your character information and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it stacks up.
No, yeah, exactly. That's really where the visual space is so limited, right?
Yeah.
Also, another really good question. How is Mythic Table for play by post?
Mm. So play by post is basically an asynchronous style of playing a game, and you can do it with Mythic Table. Um, but Mythic Table was designed for synchronous play. But the crazy thing about you know um, synchronous plays, you can do the other one. Mythic Table is always running. You can use the chat log to do play by post. Although I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the chat log
Yeah,
because
that's sort of what I
it's
was saying.
yeah, it's small. It's meant for being able to show dice this time, and really we want to kind of move away from the need to get it away from there. I don't know if Mythic Table is going to be a great play by post alternative. I think there's going to be other options out there that do play by post better than Mythic Table, and I think
Well, yeah, one options that their mission is play by post styled. Yeah, that.
yeah, you can do. There's some really great ones out there. I'm not very familiar, but I always wanted to kind of get into it just to scratch my RP itch. Um, but I'm sure there's lots of really great things that are out there that can play by post and allow you to associate images in with your posts and things like that. Will do more interesting things in your play by post.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I also had a question about for Discord, so I can address that one. It was why do users in the welcome channel just show up as a string of numbers rather than their username sometimes? And it's actually as a result of a Discord bug, and the bot is not parsing the information correctly all the time. So sometimes it happens more frequently on like the web version or the mobile version, and less frequently on the downloaded version of Discord. And then there are a small minority of the accounts that are actually like spam accounts, and they are quickly deleted accounts. So then all that's remaining is their former ID. But the majority of the ones currently are Discord has a little issue at the moment.
Interesting.
Okay, so that was all the questions that I compiled from the week or a couple weeks.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Kevin.
Yeah, no worries.
I guess that kind of wraps things up for today. This was a long one.
Yeah, yeah, that went on for a minute, but yeah, I think that pretty much finishes it off, though. And
Yeah.
if you want to get involved, just contact Mark, DM Mark. If you don't know how to DM Mark, ask in the Mythic channels somewhere, and we'll tell you how. If you're not on our Discord, join our Discord. Discord.io/Mythic Table. MYTHICTABLE.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for coming,
All right.
everybody.